Hello, I'm Sophie D'Souza and welcome to my channel Sophie Stained Glass. If you're joining me for the first time today, you're very welcome, and if you're returning, thank you very much for coming back. So today's video is a little tips and tricks about how to solder your hooks on so they're not crooked. So just a couple of ideas that hopefully might make it easier and might make it feel like you don't need like 100 pairs of hands. The first thing you need to do when you're putting a hook on is make the hook. And I have a very low-tech, I hope you can see that. I have a very low-tech way of making hooks. There's one hook. So, just so that you know, this is tinned copper wire, 1.25 mil, and it cost £4. So there we have two hooks. When I first started stained glass, I actually used to have to get someone to come and help me solder hooks on, because what used to happen was I felt I couldn't hold everything at once, which was, you know, where I was at basically. I just couldn't do it all with one pair of hands. So I have learned how to do it over the years, and that's what I'm going to show you now. So what I'll show you two methods, but what I always do is I start by putting some solder onto my hooks. So put a bit of solder on my tip, there. So that's half the battle, okay? Now don't touch these immediately because you burn your fingers. We've all done that. Right, let's see, that should be done. Now this is quite old, this panel. I actually made it for my daughter. Monday's child is fair of face, because that's my big girl, Elsie. I say my big girl, she's 24. But she was born on a Monday, and she is fair of face. So the next thing you need to do is clean up the lead, so this will adhere nicely. So I'm going to use a wire brush for that. I like these because they're little and they're not too rough. I want it to go inside the lead channel, more or less. So you want a little bit of flux. You always want to put the hooks where there is a solder joint. If you've got a heavy panel and you were to put your hook here, you'd be in danger of pulling this lead off the top of your panel. So what I do now is I put a bit of solder where I want the lead to go. In there. Oop. And then I put this in place like that, and I heat it all up. I'm going to add a little bit more flux, because there. I'll let that go cold. Now, you might find that a little bit too tricky. So another thing you can do is use a bit of blue tack. I'm just going to move this over a bit. So you get your hook, and you put it in your blue tack. Of course it won't stick to my dirty workbench, but you get the idea. So I'll just put another bit of flux on, and we'll just put another bit of this. There we are. I'm going to add a bit more. There. Now I'm going to get some pliers, and we're going to give them a tug and check that they are holding fast. So that's fine. And that's fine. So long as you do the tug test. So there we are. I mean, that was a little bit further out, I suppose. And if you were trying to sell these things, not just give them to your daughter, you might think, oh, I don't like that so much. So you can just remelt and push it in. There we are. So now they're a little bit visually better balanced. I hope that's been helpful, because I know how tricky I found that when I first started, but you can see that it is possible with just one pair of hands. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found some of what I've just shown you useful. Please like, comment and subscribe, and if you hit the bell button you'll be notified every time I post. So thank you very much.